Guys, what's going on? It's Cisco. I'm over in Fireside right now. I'm going to do a really quick masterclass on Fireside lighting. Now, this is going to apply to most weekend services. You're going to see here that I've got the lighting system pulled up already on the computer. And I'm also going to show you a little bit about the console as well. If I click over here on console, you can even see that I'm controlling the console right now, and it's completely mirroring the software. Okay, so here on the software, I'm going to show you how to operate the console as well as cues for the Fireside service. Okay, so just to start off, whenever you get to service, you're probably going to see a screen like this. This is the default screen. Oftentimes, it's the fixture chooser screen. If you're a lighting operator, you're probably familiar with this already. In Fireside, on most weekends, we use one playlist, one cue list for the entire service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on the console what we use. So right now I have the booth lights up. I'm going to bring those all the way down. And actually somebody's walking in the auditorium, so I'm going to turn up some lights so she doesn't trip and fall. No problem. Safety first. Okay. So what we're going to do here is show you that there's lots of different cues you can see on the screen. And as a reminder, the way these Vista consoles work is the very top row of cues, and you see we have a couple of blank ones. The very top row is controlled by the top set of buttons. So for instance, if I hit play here, you'll see that the video cue highlights, okay? If I hit it again, it releases. The middle row of commands are these buttons. So if I hit that button, it's going to cue that right there. And so we'll go ahead and release that. The bottom row of commands are the faders. So I can pull up stage lights. You can't see it right now, but the stage lights are coming up and down. Those are our spotlights, LEDs, the booth. And again, I can control this all from the console. So there you can see the perimeter lights and general seating lights, okay? As a rule of thumb, these two faders right here will stay the way they are. This fader stays up, this fader stays down. You can see here that this is the timing fader. We keep it down because that's the default. This is the intensity fader. We keep that up as a default. If we were to bring the intensity fader down, what that does is it brings the overall intensity of anything programmed down, and we want it all the way up because within the cue, intensity is programmed. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I can explain that more offline if you have questions about it. But for just the sake of time, you want to make sure this fader's up in the center and that fader is down, okay? There's lots of other buttons and controls, most of which we use for programming, but what I really want to get into is how we do a service. You see here cue number 6. That is pretty much the only thing we use for a typical Fireside service. So if I hit the button here, which again is going to enable this cue, you will see that I'm in walk-in. And basically, all of these cues are labeled so that as we go, you will see what cue we're on. So now this is the welcome. So when somebody's up there doing a greeting and welcoming everyone to church, you will see that that cue is enabled. Next cue is song 1. Hit it again. This is still song 1, but it's another part of the song. Okay? And so we just can keep going and going. Okay, there's offering, a video. This here, you can't really see it all, but it says speaker. So that's if somebody's speaking, maybe they're doing a verbal announcement. Here's another video. So this is the one for when we pull the screen down and show the video of the message. This is also another cue for the message, and I'm going to go into detail with these a little bit more here in a second. I'm just kind of running through them so that you could see. Invitation. Again, you can't see the full description, but I'm going to show you where you can see that. Okay, this is the end of service, and if I hit the cue again, it goes back to walk-in. Okay, so you can see that there's different menu options at the top. You've got patch, you've got console, fixture chooser, timeline, playback, and fixture output. Okay, the only two, again for sake of time, you want to be concerned with is either console. You really don't need that one because, again, I can control everything from the actual console. What I'm doing here is just showing you it's the same thing as hitting the button on the console. You may want to use fixture chooser from time to time if, for instance, we want to maybe change a color. That's a different training class, so we won't get into that in this one. And then playback. Playback is probably the main screen you're going to stay on, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the button on the actual console. You can hear me actually snapping the button, and you can see that the cue is changing, okay? And what I'm doing here now on the playback screen is showing you every single time I hit a cue what's happening. Alright, if I want to go back to the top, I'll just simply hit play right up here on the very first cue. So again, this is cue list number 6, full service. This is for Fireside. The first part is walk in, hit the button. We're on the video, the welcome video. Hit the button again, song 1, song 2, song 3. I can also enable these cues by hitting the triangle here, the play button. Let's say that we're getting ready to go to video. They're still in offering, but as the lighting operator, I accidentally cue the video too soon. Oh no, lights are going down. I can quickly go back and hit play on 3.0.3, offering with curtain, okay? And so you really literally can just go through the entire service on one cue, and you don't have to have the same type of complexity as maybe we have over in Element Live, where everything's programmed out and there's a lot of movement in the lights to every song. We don't do that in Fireside, so it makes it a lot easier, okay? Once you're done and people are walking out, and let's say it's the 9:30 service, we cue walkout, benediction's over, people are walking out, now we're going to get ready to go to the next service. All I'm going to do is simply hit the cue button again right here. I'm going to hit it on the console, and you will see that what happens is all of these cues back out and it goes back to cue number 1, and you can see the progress there is at 100%. Every single time I hit a new cue, the progress continues. And that is how we do Fireside lighting. The only other thing you need to know is if when it comes time to go, normally a staff person will close lighting down. If you'd like to do it, you can actually release all the cues. You have to be very careful when you do this because you will black out the entire auditorium, so you can't see it, but where I'm sitting right now is completely dark. And then of course I'm just going to simply take my fader right here for seating, and you can see the percentage change. I'm just going to go ahead and change the seating and the booth percentage so that I have some light in the auditorium again. So I hope you enjoyed this class. Again, that's a very simple master class on training for training in Fireside lighting. If you have more questions, you can ask me or any of the other staff people or Sean Hutto, our lighting lead. Hope you guys have a great day.